But first, right here tonight at 5 o'clock, our top story coming from the Middle East, where officials say Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire deal. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. The Prime Minister made the announcement earlier today after months of negotiations between both parties in the capital city of Doha. According to ABC News, sources say the deal involves freeing both living and dead Israeli hostages from Gaza, along with hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. The Hamas delegation says it's agreed to a complete withdrawal of Israeli troops from the Gaza Strip, but in stages. Work is reportedly underway to also reopen the Rafah border crossing, allowing the flow of international aid into Gaza.
The war has been raging on there for more than 15 months since Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th of 2023. Israeli officials say that attack resulted in the deaths of more than 1,200 people. Since then, more than 46,000 Palestinians have been killed in the war, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. Today, President Joe Biden speaking, expanding on the announced agreement.
Phase 1 will last 6 weeks. It includes a full and complete ceasefire, withdrawal of Israeli forces from all the populated areas of Gaza, and the release of a number of hostages held by Hamas, including women and elderly and the wounded. And I'm proud to say Americans will be part of that hostage release in Phase 1 as well.
And there you have it again, the release coming just 5 days before Inauguration Day. The first phase of the ceasefire deal is set to begin coming up this Sunday, January 19th.
And we'll continue to watch out for any developments from this agreement. The best way to stay up to date is by going to WHAS11.com or by downloading our news app.
But relying on sunshine and Mother Nature alone is not a sufficient strategy to deal with our roads, and we know that.
And with that, they are back at it. And here's your reason why, folks. The Metro Health Snow Team will now begin to work on the icy roads that are all over the place. Those roads are not part of the dedicated 110 snow routes. Just hours ago, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg announcing more than 90 additional routes will be salted beginning today.
Yeah, it's an effort to help break down the icy, untreated roads in neighborhoods. WHAS 11's Alexander Goldberg has the details.
Yeah, we just heard from Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg. He said that the Metro Snow Team is being redeployed to salt some of those neighborhood roads and side streets that are not a part of the regular snow routes. There will be over 90 new routes getting attention from the Metro Snow Team. That's including 70 neighborhood routes identified by JCPS in 23 school sites that need help with the surrounding areas. Greenberg said efforts with steep slopes will also be included in the effort.
We think that the salt will be helpful with the sunshine, with warm weather, with the cars driving on them, to help get the ice broken up and to help melt some more of our neighborhood streets. This also should help once the temperatures get low again and the streets may refreeze again. This might help prevent and protect those and improve the roads as well.
It all starts this afternoon with 29 crews who will just be salting roads, not plowing. Greenberg said that those crews will be out for however long it takes to get those streets cleared. In Louisville, Alexander Goldberg, WHAS 11 on your side.
And Greenberg also said since the beginning of the storm, the Metro Snow Team has laid down 44 million pounds of salt on the roads.
We only have to wait a little bit for the beginning of a real meltdown, even though it's going to be really cold tonight. I guess we do want to look ahead to the temperatures going back up to the 40s, because after that, Connie, I think we're going to see cold temperatures we're really going to be talking about after that clears.
Oh, great. Then you have to bring up the bad news.
Why not, right, Ben?
3 days above freezing on the way, and then it's a whole different story after that. Yeah, some of the coldest air of the season could be on the way as we head into next week. Out there now, it has been frigid all day today. Our coldest morning of the season was this morning. We dropped down to 10. Some areas were even colder than that. It got down to -1 in Shelbyville. So right now, thankfully not much of a breeze to add much of a wind chill, but feels like 19 nonetheless at Bowman Field, 22 at Muhammad Ali International Airport. Live view over the city skyline and the 2nd Street Bridge with our First Savings Bank cam, part of our U of L Health Camera Network. Our feels like temperatures, some upper teens off to the northeast, otherwise 26 in Elizabethtown and Hodgenville at 26 degrees and a mostly clear sky overhead. We'll start to see increasing clouds overnight. Low temperatures will be right around midnight, and then our temps start to slowly go up. In fact, it looks like we'll have some 30s on the way for much of tomorrow, but very cold this evening. As we stop it here, we start to go above freezing tomorrow afternoon. It looks like maybe a couple stray flurries, mostly off to our northeast, but clouds coming back as we start to thaw out with those upper 30s on the way. Then we get 40s, but it comes with rainfall, unfortunately, late Friday night and into Saturday, and just a very small chance of a couple snowflakes with this. That bigger story is going to be the next Arctic blast, which will cover a lot more coming up in our complete weather impact team forecast just ahead.
I thought it would have been so much easier. Unfortunately, that was not to play either yesterday or today.
Well, get this, wait times 5 hours or more at Kentucky driver's license offices. That's what we're hearing from you. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet put the blame on the weather.
And they're out waiting in this cold as well. So our Ian Hardwitt and photojournalist Jessica Farley visited 2 different branches today to see how things are falling out.
At the NIA Center on West Broadway, Larry Oakley showed up at 8:30 in the morning for a replacement ID. A sign said the Kentucky driver's license office had a 2 to 3 hour wait.
And that's a lie.
In total, he waited nearly 7 hours.
In Nashville, things goes a whole lot quicker than here, because usually you're in and out the door quick.
The website says walk-ins are still available as of noon, but if you actually show up, it says walk-ins are full, and as you can see, the office still has a line piling up.
A KYTC spokesperson admitted there is sometimes a lag between what the website says and the office sign reads. The offices take appointments, but those need to be scheduled a month out. In a statement, KYTC wrote, midweek appointments were canceled due to major staffing reductions due to weather-related travel impacts. It is not uncommon to see a spike in customer traffic to offices following closures or network interruptions. They added that the new vision screening requirements that started this year had no noticeable difference on wait times. Crunching through the snow, Cedric Jean visited Bowman Field's license office for the 2nd day in a row. He needs an ID for a flight to Puerto Rico with his girlfriend or else.
For a 30th birthday? Come on, man, I'll be sleeping on the couch for a year.
This location started a wait list, but Jean wasn't confident he'd be called by the end of Wednesday.
I tried to do it online. I didn't have a vision information. It's just a time frame now.
A time frame he needs to beat if he wants to stay off the couch. In Louisville, Ian Hardwitt, WHAS 11, on your side.
It might be a better place than waiting there in line for so long, but so the state told you the vision thing has nothing to do with these lines yet. The vision people we've been talking to say they are really busy. In fact, overwhelmed. It's been too much.
Yeah, it could be that people are getting it done at their vision providers, so they're maybe not having to do it. But another thing I want to point out here is they just started those vision screenings on January 2nd, and that weather hit us just a few days afterwards. So you're really only talking about 2.5 days of these offices being open doing these vision screenings. I don't know if that's enough time to tell if it'll really drive those wait times further up.
Those folks, though, that had to wait outside at Bowman Field, how long were they out there?
Some of them waited multiple hours, as many as 5, and never had their names called. Yesterday, that's what Gene there was just telling us about.
You tracked one person. You stayed in touch with them through the day. How long were they out there?
Nearly 7 hours. It was 6 hours, 45 minutes.
Oh my gosh. Well, I know you've we've been talking to some doctors' offices.
That's right. You can go ahead and get your license renewal done online, and if you do that, you're going to need that vision examination. Here's some advice we got from Kentucky Eye Care. Your first step should not be your eye care provider. If you've already got good 20/20 vision, you're good to go with your license renewal if that's the case. Now, you can go to your eye doctor if you need corrected vision. So, they ask for some grace as they're overwhelmed with not only the snow, but this big demand for vision exams.
All right, Ian, thank you very much. Good update there.
Thanks so much, Ian. Well, the deadline to get your real ID is fast approaching. And if you have travel plans, this can apply to you beginning on May 7th. The TSA will require all domestic air travelers to show a real ID or another acceptable form of ID like a passport. Real ID is the identification that meets a newer federal standard for IDs like driver's licenses. They're designed to be more secure forms of ID despite the deadline having been pushed pushed back several times. TSA officials say this deadline will be the last.
We are not looking at extending the deadline. May 7th, Real ID will take effect. So our objective right now is to make sure that we are as ready as possible and that travelers have their Real ID so they do not experience delays come May 7th.
And visit any driver's licensing agency website to find out exactly what documentation is required to obtain a Real ID. At minimum, you must provide documentation showing full legal name, date of birth, social security number, and 2 proofs of address.
Right now, you still have time if you live in the Clifton neighborhood to meet with the Jividan officials. This is part of the company's ongoing efforts to connect with those impacted by November's major plant explosion. Insurance representatives will also be available to help with any claims you may have. It's being held at the United Crescent Hill Ministries on State Street from until 6 tonight. And there will also be a meeting next week. If you can't make those meetings, you can also call the company with questions at the number on your screen. It is 502-341-2903. Well, the Louisville Medical and Education District, it's also known as LUMED, is working to reimagine Chestnut Street now. The project extends from South 2nd to South Clay Street downtown, cutting right through where all of Louisville's local hospitals are. And according to LUMED, its project with Metro Public Works will improve the street with modern lighting, streetscapes, and updated pathways meant to make the street more enjoyable and safe. $1.75 million in public funds are going towards this project. There's no timeline as to when it'll be finished.
So help me God. Congratulations.
And with that, the Louisville Fire Department is celebrating its latest promotions. According to LFD, the promotions were for 1 major, 6 captains, 10 sergeants, and 2 mechanics. And just last year, the Metro Council approved a new contract for the Firefighters Union. Union leaders say this makes Louisville one of the highest paid departments in Kentucky.